Welcome everybody, my name is François Latarte and this is my channel JDR D30, a channel about tabletop role-playing games. So today I will do an impression of a role-playing game and some sort of a flip-through of a role-playing game called Challenger. Challenger is a role-playing game written by David L. Dostaller and Joseph A. Dostaller, published by Superior Gamebooks. This is a free role-playing game that you can find on DriveThru RPG. Quite a big book, you know. I've made a print copy myself to try it. I've made a try with my RPGS project, which is a project I'm currently in, trying different game systems into the RPGS big setting, which encompass all sorts of kingdoms written by different authors. So I wanted to try this one. When I was searching for games for RPGS, part of those games were kind of free games. I wanted to show to the viewers on YouTube that you can make role-playing games. If you were on a budget, you know, you can find cool games, and with RPGS, which is free, you can have a basic for a setting. So yeah, so it was possible to do it. This is one of those games, one of those free games. So quite a complete piece of work. I will flip through it. I will give my impression. I will try to keep in mind that this is a free game. So well, if I compare to some games that I like, that I've paid for, maybe some stuff are missing for my taste. Okay, it's just a matter of taste. But there are some cool stuff into that game, so I will try to explain what it's all about. So Challenger role-playing games. This is a class-based game, okay, like Dungeons and Dragons. You choose a race and a class, okay, which looks like a lot like Dungeons and Dragons. You have hit points, you have some sort of an armor class, okay. Lots of things can be related to a classic role-playing game like D&D or Pathfinder, but the approach is very different. First of all, this game, well, feels like it's part of a setting, but we don't have much information on the setting. Even though this is a very big book, they don't talk much about their setting, okay. Obviously, those authors had a setting in mind and just put the rules to this setting into the book. But we're left figuring out the setting. Though there are lots of tools to create. You know, there are lots of inspiring stuff into that. Well, if you want to wonder, you know, the presentation of the book, the illustrations may look like some of these, you know, hand drawn, black and white illustrations, which is quite sufficient for the type of game. So there's some explanation on what is a role-playing game, and you know, the rules are fairly easy. Okay, this is something, if you like rules, like if you like to make rulings, this is quite a good game for that, because the rules are fairly simple. You roll a d20, add a modifier, and compare to a difficulty number. But there's not much modifiers, okay? Or if there are such modifiers, they are explained mainly into the skills you are using and all of that. So the card mechanic is very easy. And yeah, you gain 8 points, you know, like in Dungeons and Dragons, but you gain kind of 1 hit points per level and all that. The game expects you to play for a long time and get lots of level to have lots of hit points. Multi-classing is something very common into that game. Yeah, it's skill based, okay. There are no basic attributes. So yeah, coming to the character creation, okay. Okay, you select powers from your race and class. That's how you know if your character is a smart one with lots of intelligence, or is a strong one, okay. It will be more through the powers you choose, okay. That is something very cool from that game, okay. Well, character creation to I had to create the characters for my one shot to have something fit the setting itself I was using, and it was a very fun part for me. You know, I had lots of pleasure creating a character. The character sheet looks like that. Okay, you have, well, kind of hit points here, the level, some information. This is the armor. This is how it works. Well, not really armor class. I said armor class, but this is a number I will try to explain briefly. All your powers. That is pretty good. Well, that is practically what defines your character, who he is in game terms. And you have a list of skills and all that. So when you create a character in that game, you end up having lots of cool powers. Okay, it's all based. It's like if you take Pathfinder 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, but only keep the feats part. Okay, it's like if you were only working with the feats. The feats were something cool your character could do that you were adding to your sheet, but the game is based upon that. Okay. Just we'll try to find something here. Well, the classes. Okay, you begin to choose a class. There are a lot of character class. Just take the table of content, but there are lots of class. Just to name some rapidly. You know, Archer, Artificer, Assassin, Barbarian, Bard, Beastmaster, Berserker, Mind Master, Collector, Diplomat, Dragon Slayer, Healer, Henchman, Hunter, Illusionist, Jack of all trades, Knife Thrower, Knight, Master Cook, yeah, Master Cook, Master Thief, Monster Master, Necromancer, Ninja, Face Shifter, Pirate, Psionic, okay, and there are way a lot more. Yes, you have to choose throughout all those classes if you want to make a good choice. You have to read the classes and see what kind of powers they have. They have some starting free powers, and you can buy with, you know, you can buy 5 powers from your races and classes. So you choose what suits you into that. They encourage multi-classing to start with, and they encourage it so much that some classes are from the same subtype. So if you take those 2 classes to start with, it's a kind of a free multi-class combination you can make. Otherwise, if they are not from the same subtype, it costs you one of your power you can buy to combine 2 classes. Even though it's quite interesting, because just with the free powers, it makes character very special. Very special. Okay, you can have very interesting combination here. You know, I was able to create. I had an idea in mind when I was creating the characters. I will try to do that type of characters, and I was able to get something very near from what I had in mind. So you can have all those cool classes with the information, what kind of weapons they use, what kind of armor they are trained with. And you choose from the powers, okay? And then you come from the races. There again, that's where I feel that they had the setting in mind, the authors of that book, because there are quite strange races, quite a mix of anything. The game feels high fantasy, but there are some sci-fi things to it. Okay, we have aliens. That's the first race they present. Can be an intelligent animal. Animated object. Yes, this is a race. Beast, demon, catwoman, dragon, dwarf. Oh, now we get to something we know. Electrical element. Okay. Health, flame golem, giant, just human, of course. Immortals. Monkey, you can be a monkey. A robot. Okay, there's a robot in here. So this is quite gunzo. Okay, I had the feeling that these guys maybe were Rift fans. I don't know, but there was that kind of Palladium Rift side to it that I was enjoying, in fact. I had to create, in fact, for the setting that is special, but in the setting itself, there were elf magic users that were creating, I don't remember the name, but they were creating some sort of robots, in fact, to work in the mines. They had another name. It was some sort of a golem. Okay, it's a construct, yeah. So the robot, you know, really fitted well, you know, the idea behind behind what they had in the setting, the author of the kingdom I was using, and it fit very well. Then you have to buy skills. There are some points. What you know about the skills is that if you are unskilled, well, you have -5 to do a check on a D20. Which was something while playing. I will come back to you with that. The skill lists are all arranged with subtypes, you know, the categories, and depending on your races and classes combination, you know in what list you can pick the skills. But well, there are kind of lists that are belonging to anyone. Okay, that there's no where there's no limit. So this is basic skill taking. Something that I found a little weird was that you don't have directly skills to fight, okay, except for, you know, you have unarmed fighting or something like that, but you can have weapon mastery or something like that. Well, it's in the powers of the different classes and races that you can find proficiency in fighting, but that will come back with my impression when I played this game. And there are some parts about finishing up your character, some background information that can give you some bonuses on your character, what he was about before, and all that. In the book, there are lots and lots of GM advice. The combat rules. Well, combat, the GM rolls no dice, and combat are resolved, you know, every round. The player rolls the dice, and if he succeeds to reach the risk rating of its target, he hits the target. So he will do damage and reduce the hit point of the target. But if he misses the roll, well, he's the one who has been attacked by the target. So a target with high risk rating, if he's attacked by many player characters, well, if all the player characters miss their roll, it's because the enemy was able to fight them back. Because of the high risk rating, it represents its capacity maybe to defend and attack against different targets. And the armor, yeah, that's the part which is quite unusual, but when you have an armor, you have a small number representing the armor itself. So if you miss, but you reach that number or that range of numbers, it's because your armor just absorbed the hit. So with the example I give, the armor was between 2 and 4. So if you miss your roll, but you rolled a 2 or 3 or a 4 on your dice, well, the armor just soaked the damage. So yeah, there are some rules to stack monsters. Let's say you are fighting against 10 orcs. Well, you can represent those 10 orcs with only 1 dice roll. There are some recipes which are quite loose. Okay, there are suggestions on how to stack monster. Maybe you can boost their hit points. Maybe you can have their risk rating higher. You can make a combination of both. It depends. But yeah, you can stack monsters, which is a good thing. You know, I've used it in my game and it was quite easy to handle. But this is a rules-like game. You know, there are some loose principles about that. Yeah, the monsters, you know, have the risk rating. You know, I can show you, let's say, a werewolf. Okay, you see the werewolf here? Okay, that's how the monsters appear. So he has a risk rating of 16. So you have to hit 16 or more to hit it. 40 hit points, make 1d10 damage, and you have a special attacks and stuff that are related to a werewolf. big glossary in the middle of the book. I think I missed a part, but okay, yeah, there are no. If you're searching for a magic part, the magic is all explained into the magic using character class. You can create your spell, but there are guidelines on what type of spell you can do. Offensive spell, defensive spell. Okay, you have to come up with your own IDs. Okay, and like I said, lots of GM's advice. I haven't read them. I was flipping through the book, reading here and there some of the paragraphs. There were sound advice. Okay, the guys who wrote that knows what they're doing, knows their GM job. I have a feeling that playing with those guys, I think, could be a great experience. That game has potential, and yeah, probably they know how to interpret the game for their players. For my part, well, I did enjoy the session because I had good players, good IDs, but the game system, I wasn't sure enough. Okay, I felt like probably I needed more practice to make this work right. Didn't say this is wrong, but I was choosing some monsters and I saw how inefficient the players were against them. It was hard for them to make a good combat. Well, yeah, they were first level characters, but I was amazed on how hard it was for the characters to hit. They could have very cool skills and very cool powers giving them bonuses on anything, but when it came to fighting, they had a +1, +2 on a D20 to roll. Yeah, that's what you could expect from a first level characters in Dungeons and Dragons, but I felt that they were not that much efficient in the combat. So probably if I had to run this again for some reasons, I would bring some monsters with easier risk rating to give the players the sense that they are useful in combat. And yeah, okay. Though the character class have cool powers and makes them very unique, I felt during playing, I've made it in 2 sessions, so I've made two different groups, 2 different sessions, and that is my experience with the game so far. But I felt that we were coming around the powers quite often. Okay, it's like that's what the characters can do, and everything else you try to do, well, you try to get through your powers to get it done, because through your powers you have a chance to succeed. But if you're trying anything else, something heroic, well, you have a -5 to do it, and didn't feel that heroic. So probably if someone wants to get into this game and raise up with lots of level, probably they will get very cool and heroic characters. I can believe that into that game. But yeah, I felt that even though there was many choices, we felt like limited with what we could do with the characters. But like I said, it's probably us discovering the game. Maybe not more practice could be needed. More practice from a player who will come back with his character and just knows more about it and knows how to react to the different scenes with what he can do. Though I don't think I will run this game again, but I'm happy to have tried it. Okay, it's part of the experiment. What I can say is that you want a free game that is quite complete, in fact. Okay, that will let you really create things out of your head and have something to support it. If you want to do some crazy mix, okay, of characters and IDs for scenarios and weird settings, well, that game will enable you that. Okay, the rules are very loose, so if you like to do some rulings, well, you will do a lot with that. So the game is good for that. Okay, if you want to go there, and this is a free game, just have the feeling that maybe some parts are missing from that game. Maybe you have to come up with some stuff to fill the gaps, and maybe just master the game to make it feel natural, feel, you know, help the player feels that they can do something interesting in the game. But why do I complain? This is a free game, probably made with lots of love by those authors, who obviously had a lots of fun writing that. You know, I can feel it just reading the game. This is a labor of love. So yeah, you can just check this out. You know, this is free on DriveThru RPG, and get yourself a copy. But if you want to check the game, check my channel. It's RPGS, and with the Challenger game system. We had lots of cool players playing, and yeah, we had a great time. Okay, I can say that in the end, you know, I had a great time playing with those guys and trying out this game system. So any questions, comments, you know, please leave them below. And yeah, this is it. My name is François Letat for JDR D30, and up to next time, I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your games. Goodbye.